Let me ask you something. How many people in your life truly know you? I'm not talking about your social media followers. I'm not talking about your co-workers who share morning coffee with you. I'm not talking about the acquaintances you exchange polite hellos with. I'm talking about people who truly know you. The ones who know what your laugh sounds like when something genuinely delights you. The ones who've seen your tears and didn't walk away. The ones who know your deepest fears and still stand beside you. If you're honest with yourself, that number is probably smaller than you'd like to admit. And that's okay, because it's not about quantity. It's never been about quantity. It's about quality. It's about depth. It's about truth. Welcome. This is the 4th episode of Love for Real, and today we're going to talk about something extraordinary, something that can completely transform your life. We're going to talk about true friendship, not the superficial connections we accumulate like collectors, not the transactional relationships we maintain out of convenience, but that deep love, that chosen love, that love the ancient Greeks called philia. And I'll tell you something up front. If you have even one true friendship in your life, even one, you're luckier than most. Because true friendship is increasingly rare in this accelerated world. It's harder and harder to find, and even harder to cultivate. But when you find it, when you nurture it, it's one of the most valuable treasures you can have. We live in a paradoxical time. We've never been more connected technologically, and yet we've never felt more alone. You have 500 friends on Facebook, 1,000 followers on Instagram, dozens of contacts in your phone. But when you really need to talk to someone, when you're going through a crisis, when your heart is breaking, how many of those people can you call at 3 a.m? How many of those people know the real version of you? Not the curated version you show on social media, but the real version, the vulnerable version, the imperfect version. Because that's what distinguishes a true friend from a mere acquaintance. An acquaintance knows your facade. A friend knows your foundation. An acquaintance celebrates your successes in public. A friend holds your failures in private. An acquaintance tells you what you want to hear. A friend tells you what you need to hear. And here's the truth many don't want to admit. Having many acquaintances is easy. But having even one true friend requires something few are willing to give. It requires vulnerability. It requires time. It requires honesty. It requires reciprocity. It requires showing up as you really are and trusting you won't be rejected. And that risk of being fully seen, is what makes true friendship so rare, and also what makes it so valuable. Because when you find someone who sees you completely and chooses to stay, you found something sacred. You found a love that's not based on blood or romance, but on pure choice, on mutual commitment, on deep respect. And today, we're going to explore how to recognize that love, how to cultivate it, and how to protect it, because it's one of life's most precious gifts. The ancient Greeks had something we've lost. They had specific words for different types of love. Not just one generic word trying to encompass everything, but distinct words for distinct experiences. Eros was romantic love, passionate love. Storge was familial love, love of blood. Agape was universal love, unconditional love for humanity. And philia was the love of deep friendship. Love between people who choose each other, who respect each other deeply, who share values and seek virtue together. For Aristotle, philia was the noblest love, because it's not based on biological need like romantic love. It's not automatically given like familial love. Philia is built, it's chosen, it's cultivated with intention. And Aristotle identified 3 types of friendship. Friendship of utility. You relate to someone because they're useful. Business connections, transactional relationships. Friendship of pleasure. You relate to someone because it's fun. Party buddies, casual acquaintances. And then there's friendship of virtue. The friendship where both people admire each other, where both seek to grow, where both challenge each other to become better versions of themselves. This is true philia. And it's rare, very rare, because it requires both people to be committed to their own growth. It requires emotional maturity. It requires the ability to see beyond your own needs. But when you find it, when you experience true philia, it's transformative. Because a true friend doesn't just accompany you on life's journey. They help you become who you're meant to be. They don't keep you comfortable in your worst habits. They lovingly challenge you to grow. They don't judge you for your mistakes, but they don't ignore them either. A true friend is a mirror that reflects your truth. And that truth, though sometimes uncomfortable, is a gift. Because it allows you to know yourself better. It allows you to grow more deeply. It allows you to become the person you truly are, instead of the person you pretend to be. I want to share the story of 2 friends, Julia and Mariana. They met 20 years ago in college, randomly assigned roommates. 2 strangers that life put in the same small space. At first, it didn't seem like they'd become friends. Julia was extroverted, loud, spontaneous, always surrounded by people. Mariana was introverted, quiet, reflective, preferred books to parties. They seemed like opposites, and for the first few months, they barely spoke beyond what was necessary. But one night, everything changed. Julia got a call. Her father had a heart attack. He was in intensive care 3 hours away. Julia, the always cheerful, always strong, always in control Julia, fell apart. And Mariana, who never knew what to say in social situations, who avoided drama, sat next to her in silence for hours. She didn't try to fix anything. She didn't offer empty words of comfort. She didn't say everything would be okay. She simply was there. And when Julia could finally speak, Mariana listened, really listened. And then, without Julia asking, Mariana said, "I'm going with you to the hospital." That night, on that 3-hour bus ride, something began. something neither of them expected, something that would change their lives forever. It wasn't a dramatic moment. There was no declaration of eternal friendship. Just two people being human together. One vulnerable, the other present. And that's often how true friendship begins. Not with laughter and parties, though that will come too, but with vulnerability, with presence, with seeing someone at their most fragile moment and choosing to stay. 20 years later, Julia and Mariana are still friends. But not because life has been easy, not because they've always agreed, not because they've never had conflicts. They've had all of that. They've lived in different cities, Julia in Madrid, Mariana in Barcelona. They've been through enormous changes, careers, relationships, losses, triumphs. They've had disagreements, conflicts, periods of distance. There was a year after a fight about something they don't even remember now, where they barely spoke, and both thought, maybe this is over. Maybe we grew in different directions. But what makes them true friends isn't that they've never had conflicts. It's that they chose to work through them. Mariana was the one who finally called. "I don't care who was right," she said. "I care that I miss you." And Julia, who had been waiting for that bridge, crossed it. Because that's what true friends do. They don't pretend conflicts don't exist. They don't silently accumulate resentments. They talk. They communicate. They honestly challenge each other. And then they choose to repair. They choose to forgive. They choose to keep choosing each other. Today, 20 years after that night on the bus, Julia and Mariana talk almost every day. Not always about deep things, sometimes just about silly stuff, memes, TV shows. But when one of them needs something real, the other is there. No questions, no conditions, no keeping score. When Julia got divorced, Mariana took a train and showed up at her door with wine and tissues. When Mariana lost her job, Julia reminded her of everything she was worth when she'd forgotten. When Julia doubted changing careers, Mariana was the one who said, "Do it. I'll be here no matter what." When Mariana faced depression, Julia was the one who insisted, "You don't have to face this alone." They don't keep score of who's given more. They don't compete. They don't judge. They hold each other. They challenge each other. They celebrate each other. And both know, without having to say it, that life is richer because they have each other. That is philia. That is true friendship. That is the love we choose. So what makes a friendship true? What distinguishes a friend from a mere acquaintance? It's not how long you've known each other. It's not how often you see each other. It's not how many secrets you share. True friendship rests on 4 pillars. And the first, the most fundamental, is trust. But I'm not talking about the superficial trust of "you won't share my secrets." I'm talking about something deeper. Trust that you can be completely yourself and not be rejected. Trust that you can show your ugly parts and still be loved. Trust that you can fail and not be abandoned. That trust isn't built in a day. It's built slowly, in small moments of consistency. Every time your friend says they'll be there, and they are. Every time you share something vulnerable, and it's honored. Every time you need something, and they show up. Trust is like a bridge. It's built plank by plank, action by action, moment by moment. But here's what's interesting. True trust also includes being able to trust that your friend will tell you the truth, even when that truth is uncomfortable, even when that truth hurts, even when that truth isn't what you want to hear. Because a true friend isn't there just to make you feel good. They're there to help you grow. And sometimes, growth hurts. Sometimes you need to hear that you're being unfair, that you're self-sabotaging, that you're avoiding something you need to face. An acquaintance tells you what you want to hear. A true friend tells you what you need to hear. With love, with respect, but with honesty. And you trust that, even when it hurts, it comes from a place of love, not judgment, not superiority, but from a genuine desire to see you flourish. That is true trust. And it's the foundation of everything else. That is the love we choose. The second pillar of true friendship is vulnerability. And this is the scariest one. Because vulnerability requires you to take off the mask, to stop pretending you have it all together, to admit your fears, your doubts, your failures. And that, in a world that constantly tells you you need to be strong, successful, perfect, is incredibly difficult. But here's the paradox. You can't have a deep friendship without vulnerability. Because intimacy, true connection, requires being seen. And you can't be seen if you're hiding behind a facade. Think about it. When have you felt closest to someone? It probably wasn't when you were both showing your best versions. It was when one of you dared to be vulnerable. When someone said, "I'm scared. I don't know what to do. I feel lost." And the other responded, "Me too sometimes." Or simply, "I'm here." That's what creates true connection. Not shared perfection, but shared humanity. Shared vulnerability. But vulnerability in friendship has to be reciprocal. If you're always the one opening up and the other person never does, that's not friendship. That's a one-sided relationship. True vulnerability is a dance. One opens up, the other responds with their own opening. One shares a fear, the other shares theirs. It's an exchange, a reciprocity. And yes, it requires courage. Because every time you open up, you risk rejection. But when you find someone who honors your vulnerability, who responds with their own, who doesn't judge but sees you, you found something rare. You found a safe space. You found a true friend. And in that safe space, both of you can grow. Because you can finally stop spending energy pretending and use that energy to evolve, to heal, to become who you truly are. The third pillar of true friendship is reciprocity. And this is the one many people forget, or ignore, or rationalize when it doesn't exist. Reciprocity means both people are investing in the friendship. Not necessarily in the same way, not necessarily at the same time, but over time, there's a balance. A give and take, a two-way flow. Both people initiate conversations. Both make plans. Both show up. Both support. Both listen. Both genuinely care about the other's life. But let me ask you an uncomfortable question. Do you have friendships where you're always the one calling, texting, initiating? Where you feel that if you stopped making the effort, the friendship would simply disappear? That's not a true friendship. That's a one-sided relationship. And I know it hurts to recognize that, because we want to believe people value us as much as we value them. But the truth is, when a friendship is one-sided, the other person is showing you, through their actions, how much of a priority you are to them. And it's not your responsibility to convince them you deserve their effort. In a true friendship, you don't have to chase. There's a natural balance. Sometimes you initiate, sometimes they do. Sometimes you need more support, sometimes they do. Sometimes you give more, sometimes they do. But over time, both feel the friendship is balanced. Neither feels they're doing all the work. Neither feels they're being used. And yes, there will be seasons where one is going through something difficult and needs more. That's normal. That's expected. But in a true friendship, the person receiving more support acknowledges it, appreciates it, and when they can, they reciprocate. They don't keep score. It's not transactional, but both know they're there for each other. So if you find yourself constantly chasing a friendship, if you're always the one making the effort, if you feel more invested than the other person, maybe it's time to ask yourself, is this a true friendship? Or is it an illusion you're maintaining alone? And sometimes, the most loving answer to yourself is to let go, to stop chasing, and make space for people who will meet you halfway. The fourth pillar of true friendship is time. And I'm not just talking about how long you've known each other. I'm talking about quality time, consistent time, intentional time. Because deep friendships aren't built in sporadic moments. They're built in the accumulation of ordinary moments. In coffee conversations that stretch for hours. In late-night phone calls that start with "got a minute?" and end 3 hours later. In comfortable silences where you don't need to fill every space. In mundane moments as much as extraordinary ones. And here's the challenge in the modern world. We're busier than ever. More distracted than ever. More fragmented than ever. We have 1,000 entertainment options, 1,000 demands on our attention, 1,000 distractions in our pockets. And time, uninterrupted quality time, has become incredibly scarce. So many friendships have become superficial by default. We meet quickly for a rushed coffee. We exchange superficial messages between meetings. We catch up hurriedly and then don't talk for months. And then we wonder why we feel lonely. Why we feel no one really knows us. But deep friendships require time. They require presence. They require sustained attention. They require you to turn off your phone and really listen. To cancel other things to be there when they need you. To make that friendship a priority, not something you attend to only when you have leftover time. Because let's be honest, you never have leftover time. Time is made, it's chosen, it's prioritized. And the people who are truly important to you deserve intentional time. Not the scraps of your day after everyone else has taken theirs. Not hurried conversations between other things, but quality time, full presence, genuine attention. When Julia and Mariana lived in different cities, they had a weekly call every Sunday night, without fail. It didn't matter what else they had going on. That hour was sacred. It was their way of saying, "You're a priority. Our bond matters." And that consistency over years is what kept their friendship deep despite the distance. So ask yourself, who are you giving your quality time to? And who deserves more of that time? Because time is the most valuable gift you can give. And true friendships deserve it. Now we need to talk about something important, something many people avoid recognizing. Not all friendships are healthy. Not all friendships are good for you. And sometimes, the friendships you thought were true are actually toxic. And that hurts to recognize. Because we want to believe the people we've had in our lives for years want what's best for us. But the truth is, some friendships are draining rather than nourishing. How do you know if a friendship is toxic? Pay attention to how you feel after spending time with that person. In a nourishing friendship, you feel energized, inspired, seen, supported. Even if the conversation was difficult, you feel better for having had it. In a toxic friendship, you feel drained, small, judged, less than. You feel worse than before you saw them. In a nourishing friendship, there's reciprocity, balance, mutuality. Both give, both receive, both support. In a toxic friendship, you're always giving, always being the support. And when you need something, they're not available. In a nourishing friendship, they challenge you to grow but from love. They tell you difficult truths but with compassion. In a toxic friendship, they constantly criticize you. They make you feel inadequate. They compete with you instead of celebrating you. In a nourishing friendship, they respect your boundaries. If you say no, they accept it. If you need space, they understand. In a toxic friendship, they ignore your boundaries. They make you feel guilty for having them. They manipulate you emotionally to do what they want. And here's the hardest part. Sometimes you need to let go of a friendship that's no longer healthy. Not because the other person is bad, not because they were a bad friend in the past, but because you've grown in different directions, or because the dynamic became toxic. And that's okay. It's okay to recognize a friendship has run its course. It's okay to prioritize your well-being. Because your emotional energy is limited, and you deserve to invest it in friendships that nourish you, that support you, that celebrate you, that bring out the best in you. Not in friendships that drain you, that diminish you, that make you feel less. Letting go of a toxic friendship isn't selfish. It's self-love. It's recognizing your worth. It's making space for true friendships. There's something no one tells you about becoming an adult. Making friends becomes incredibly difficult. When you were a kid, or even a teenager, making friends was natural, almost automatic. You went to school every day, you saw the same people, you shared experiences, friendships just happened. But as an adult, you no longer have those automatic structures. Most of your co-workers are older or younger, or in different life stages. Your schedule is full, your energy is limited, and after a long day, the last thing you want to do is socialize with strangers. So how do you cultivate deep friendships in adulthood? It's not easy, but it's possible. First, be intentional. Adult friendships don't just happen. They require intention. If you meet someone you feel a connection with, take the next step. Invite them for coffee. Suggest a walk. Start a deeper conversation. Don't wait for them to do it. Take the initiative. Second, be consistent. Depth is built with time, and time requires consistency. Establish rhythms, weekly calls, monthly dinners, whatever works for both of you. Because without consistency, connection fades. Third, be vulnerable. Superficial conversations don't create deep friendships. So dare to go deeper. Share something real, something vulnerable, something that truly matters. And watch if the other person responds with their own depth. If they do, it's a sign there's potential for something real. Fourth, look in places where you already are. You don't need to go to networking events or friendship apps if that's not your thing. Look at your gym, your yoga class, your book club, your work. In places where you already are and where you share common interests. And finally, be patient. Deep friendships take time, a lot of time. It can take years of consistency before a friendship becomes truly deep. But it's worth it. Because when you find even one or two true friendships, your life completely changes. You feel less alone, more seen, more understood. You have someone to celebrate victories with and process defeats. You have a mirror that reflects your truth with love. And that's invaluable. That makes all the effort worth it. Now I want to give you 3 concrete practices for cultivating true friendship. Practice number 1, the friendship audit. This might sound cold, but it's necessary. Take a moment to honestly evaluate your current friendships. Make a list of people you consider your friends, and then ask yourself about each one. Is this friendship reciprocal? Are we both investing equally? Do I feel better or worse after spending time with this person? Can I be vulnerable with them? Do they truly see me? Does this person challenge me to grow or keep me in my comfort zone? Do I invest quality time with this person or just superficial interactions? And based on those answers, decide where you want to invest your limited energy. Some friendships need more investment. Some need clearer boundaries. And some maybe need to be lovingly released. Practice number 2, the monthly deep conversation. Choose one friend or 2 with whom you want to deepen the connection and establish a ritual once a month without fail. It could be dinner, a walk, a video call, whatever works for both of you. But make it quality time. No distractions, no phones. And in that time, go deeper than usual. Ask each other, how are you really? What's challenging you? What are you learning? Is there something you need to process? Something I can support you with? These conversations, consistent and deep, are what transforms a casual friendship into a true one. Practice number 3, the act of radical presence. Once a month, Practice being completely present with a friend. Not half intensive while checking your phone. Not distracted thinking about 1,000 things, but completely present. Full attention. Deep listening. When your friend speaks, listen to understand, not to respond. Don't plan your next sentence while they are talking. Simply listen. Ask questions that show you are really paying attention. Reflect what you hear to make sure you understand. Because true presence is one of the rarest and most valuable gifts you can give. In a world where everyone is distracted, being completely present with someone is an act of deep love. These 3 practices, if you implement them consistently, will transform the quality of your friendships. Not overnight, but with time, with intention, with consistency, you'll build the deep friendships you long for. The friendships that will sustain you, challenge you, celebrate you. The true friendships that make life worth living. We've covered a lot of ground today. We've talked about philia, about the 4 pillars, about toxic and nourishing friendships. But I want you to take away something more fundamental, something simpler, something deeper. True friendship is one of the purest forms of love. It's not complicated by romantic attraction. It's not dictated by blood ties. It's simply 2 people choosing each other again and again, day after day, year after year. And in a world that glorifies romantic love, that idealizes familial love, sometimes we forget how sacred friendship love is. But think about it. Your romantic partner can leave you. Your blood family you didn't choose. But your true friends, you chose them. And they chose you. And every day they choose to stay. Not because they have to, but because they want to. Because they value you. They respect you. They love you. And isn't that extraordinary? In a world of 7 billion people, someone chose you. And they didn't just choose you once. They keep choosing you. Through your best moments and your worst. Through your successes and your failures. Through your bright days and your dark nights. If you have even one friendship like that in your life, even one person who sees you completely and chooses to stay, you're incredibly fortunate. And that friendship deserves to be honored, nurtured, protected. Because it's rare, precious, irreplaceable. And if you haven't found that kind of friendship yet, if you feel alone amid many superficial connections, I want you to know something. It's possible, even in adulthood, even now. But it requires you to be intentional, to be vulnerable, to be patient. It requires you to stop chasing quantity and start cultivating quality. It requires you to release toxic friendships to make space for nourishing ones. It requires you to risk being seen to connect deeply. And when you find that true friendship, you'll know. Not because it's perfect, not because there are no conflicts, but because you'll feel seen, valued, accompanied. Because finally, you'll have someone walking beside you on this journey of life. Not ahead, not behind, but beside. And that changes everything. Before I go, I want to leave you with a challenge. Think about the people in your life who truly matter, the ones who know you, who see you, who choose to stay. And then, tell them. Don't assume they know. Don't take for granted they understand how much they mean to you. Tell them. It could be a text, it could be a call, It could be in person. But tell them something like this. Hey, I just wanted you to know I value our friendship, that it means a lot to me that you're in my life, that I feel fortunate to have you. It might feel vulnerable, it might feel unnecessary, but do it anyway. Because we all need to hear that we matter, that we're valued, that we're seen. And then, the second challenge. If you feel you're lacking deep friendships in your life, if you feel lonely even surrounded by people, be the initiative you're waiting for from others. Invite someone for coffee. Suggest a deeper conversation. Dare to be vulnerable first. Yes, you risk rejection, but you also open yourself to connection. Because true friendship doesn't fall from the sky. It's built, it's cultivated, it's chosen. It requires intention, it requires time, it requires vulnerability. But when you find it, when you have even one true friend in your life, you realize all the effort was worth it. In the next episode, we'll talk about compassionate love. That love that extends beyond your inner circle. That love that expects nothing in return. That love for humanity the Greeks called agape. But for now, thank you for being here. Thank you for reflecting with me about true friendship. And remember, in a world that glorifies having 1,000 superficial connections, true wealth is having even one deep connection. So choose quality over quantity. Choose depth over superficiality. Choose philia over mere acquaintances. Until the next episode. And in the meantime, take care of your true friendships, because they're one of life's most precious treasures.